Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Beena. I'm an English teacher from Ajax, Canada. And basically, I was born in Pakistan and then I moved here. I have taught there and I'm teaching here. So, seeing both worlds, um, that gives me a bigger horizon of understanding things. And just because we are in pandemic, I had plenty of time, so I thought of making a useful video to help everyone who is struggling for an expensive exam, a time consuming exam. And what is that? That is this exam, IELTS, right? So what happens? As soon as you decide you have to take IELTS, you buy some book, you buy the resources, and you start preparing. Now what happens is, apparently this looks very simple. There are 4 tests in this book and they are based on the 4 language skills, right? Reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Now the question is, it seems very easy and you start practicing these tests. What happens is, in listening and in reading, you don't get good scores. And why is that? There are a number of reasons behind that. And once you follow my method, then you can definitely help yourself. And in today's video, I'll be walking you through all the steps and all the phases of preparation, how to prepare for it. So the first thing first, as soon as you get this book, my first tip is never write on this book. Don't write, never write on this book. So what you can do is, please, though I know it's not allowed, it's not permissible, don't try to make copies for others, but scan it and make copies and use it for yourself. You are going to use this book at least 3 to 4 times, at least 3 to 4 times. So never write on this to save money, okay? So the first time you use this book and you try the listening test, and basically I'm talking about those who have a good level in language, English language. You know, like in the beginning when we are born, we crawl, right? Then we learn to walk, and then we learn to jog, run, and we never learn to run a marathon. And basically this test is like running a marathon. So let's see how we can run this marathon. Okay, so the first time you will open this book and you'll start practicing the first test, you'll realize you are unable to get good scores. And my tip is, the first time, I'll be talking about each skill one by one. So we begin with listening, okay? So when you practice listening, what you do is try one test and see what's your score. If your score is bad, my tip is to self-analyze yourself, to do the self-assessment and self-analysis. And how can you do that? When you do a poor test, then stop there, and if you want, try another one, but there's no use. The second step you have to follow is, you just listen to the audio. Don't try to solve the test, don't try fill in the blanks, and you just listen to the test and try to understand, okay? And while you are trying to listen and understand, try as if that's a teacher who's giving you dictation. So you start writing that test, okay? And if you are able to comprehend each and every word, and if you are able to write all the transcript of that audio without any spelling mistakes, without any other grammar mistakes, normally the transcript is given in this book, okay? So you can match it with that, tally with that. So if you are able to do that successfully 100%, that shows, that means it's not problem with your listening. You are good at listening and understanding English. Now what's the problem? The problem is the presentation and the format of the test. This test, listening test, has 4 parts. So in the first part, the most possible errors are singular plurals and numbers, writing names, and one other error that quite often happens, and it happens because of wrong expectation. Let's say the two speakers are speaking, they are talking to each other. You are expecting answer, you expect speaker A will speak and then speaker B would say something, but sometimes without A's asking question, B says two things. The second thing could be the answer to the next question. So while you were prepared to listen for one answer, the speaker gives you two answers and you are not ready, so you miss it. That's the first part. And then when you move to the second part of listening, what's wrong with that? The possible errors that we make in that are based on a few things. In listening section, basically they give you maps, they give you diagrams, and the way the blanks are scattered in the text, and sometimes it's too much text, but not really in the second part. Basically it's more about maps and diagrams. So now the question is, what's wrong with that? Nothing is wrong. The only problem is cultural problem. The countries, the third world countries, there is no culture. I come from there. There's no culture where people give you direction saying go east, go north, make a right on this, make a left on that. Their things are very simple. People say you go straight, you will come across this building, then make a right, you will see this building, then make a left, and then you will see this tree maybe, and then you make a right turn. So we give directions in that manner, right? So but in English culture, directions are very precise. And living in an English speaking country, what I noticed is people give very clear directions. So in maps, you need to know two things: directional words, you have to build up a vocabulary. So those are directional words plus prepositions and location words, right? So once you master that, then it's really easy for you to follow the speaker and fill the whatever he wants you, right? And then the other thing is same thing with diagram. We are not used to have that kind of practice where we have to follow somebody's instruction and see what comes after what. So again the same thing, once you familiarize yourself with that 4-6 times and you have the vocabulary, then you start understanding, and then that question becomes really easy for you. Then what else? Then we move to section 3. Now what's wrong with section 3 of listening? Section 3 is full of MCQs. And the major problem is it's not just about the MCQs, it's too much text. Now, here I would like to mention one thing. I have a complaint to make. Um, how I look at it, the brain of a native speaker works differently from the brain of a non-native speaker, right? So when you are working with your L2 language 2 second language, your brain is always slow. It doesn't work at the same pace as it does in L1, your first language, right? So the whole problem is there is too much text and you hardly have any time to read and understand question and its options. And you don't get enough time to read question answers, and meanwhile the speaker starts speaking, right? And that's a major cause of failing to fill answers, supply answers, fill in the blanks in that part. So what can you do about it? There are different ways. Try the one you want. So the first one is you have to practice a few tests and try to jump your eyes. Jump. Don't try to read each and every word. Jump your eyes to the blanks and read the area around the blanks. Okay? To save time, don't read everything where there are no blanks. Just read the area where the blank is. So you should be familiar and it would save you time on reading, and you will know what to expect next, and the words around the blank give you a clear idea that the speaker is going to say this and I need a word here, right? And the other thing is sometimes it doesn't work that way, because even in this procedure, in this method, you need plenty of time. What can you do in that case? Try this thing. If it works for you, well. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. So some of the students, some people, what they do is, as they are listening, they read the question and they jot down, they try to jot down the answer from the speaker, then they move to the next question and they try to jot down, and from those jotted notes, later on when you get 10 extra minutes, you try to use those words as reference and you try to answer your question. You try to pick the choice that matches those jotted points, right? But that way is a risky way, I would say. Sometimes you are unable to figure out what is what, and it's not 100% accurate, but anyway, it's a way to handle it. So try both things. First thing, jump your eyes on the blanks and just highlight the sentence, part of sentence, the words around the blank, just that part, and try to fill that. So this is the way you can solve section 3's problem. Now we move to section 4. What are the problems with section 4? In section 4, the problem is basically people say it is difficult, but I think, and I would say it's not difficult at all. Why people say it is difficult? Only reason, there's a lot of text and you are unable to read and decide what to write, where to write, right? Again, my recipe is same. What you do is jump your eyes, don't try to read each and every word, okay? So jump your eyes to the spaced sentences and try to circle them, underline them. So this is where my eyes are going to stop next, okay? And while the speaker is talking, taking his time, saying something, you can always jump to the next area and wait for the speaker to get to that area and give you the answer, right? So if you follow this recipe, you can very easily accomplish your listening section. in a nice manner, you can finish it, and I'm sure at least you can get band 7 in that. Now we'll move to the reading part. What's wrong with IELTS reading? Okay, so in IELTS reading, what happens as soon as you look at this book, what you our brains, when they learn something, they try to stick to that. So the traditional method that we are taught, whenever we get a text, we start reading it. Okay, and once we finish, then we look at the questions and we try to answer them. And then the types of questions are totally different, right? Normally what we were taught back home, after reading a certain text, we had to answer simple answer questions and maybe some sentences or sometime a summary, that's it. But here it is totally different. If you try to, it is hard to accept this fact that you don't have to read everything in the given text. That wastes your time. You have 40 questions to finish and you have 60 minutes, and those 40 questions are really, they involve critical thinking, they need your time, so you do have no extra time for reading your text. Now the question is, there are many people who give you different recipes, do this, do that. So my recipe to you is, it's very simple, don't worry at all. Reading is all about synonyms. Okay, so in the question the word is given and the answer is in the synonym, right? You never look for exact words in the text, one thing. And the second thing is, reading is all about getting the gist, getting the understanding the main idea, right? So once you are capable of finding synonyms quickly and understanding the main idea, then you are going to have this test in an excellent manner. There's no question that you won't do it. So what you do is, there are different question types. You do one test, you test yourself, and if you do bad, then stop there, because this is not a regular reading test. This is not, tell yourself. So first thing first, there are different type of questions in reading section. Some are easy, some are moderate, some are difficult, right? So what you do is, familiarize yourself with all the question types, like summary completion, short answer questions, and then there are questions like identifying the info or matching the information. And those, actually it is pretty straight. What we do is we try to bring our outside knowledge, don't do that. And the other thing is, don't never try to infer, never try to make deduce your own understanding and meaning. That would cause a problem. How can you do that correctly is, stay straight. Whatever is written there, you just have to match words to their synonyms. In identifying info, in matching info, in answering your questions, all you have to do is, you have to do matching. Okay, so now in reading, I would say there are words, I would say they work as a group, as a gang. So nouns, they play different roles. Nouns help you as guides, they help you as coach. So they take you like a police, they take you and show you something, right? Treat them in that manner. And then there are adjectives, the ones who describe somebody or some situation, and they are really helpful. Then verbs, definitely verbs. So what somebody is doing in the question, in the answer in the text, you'll find different words, right? Synonym words. You won't find the exact words. So your nouns, your verbs, your adjectives. So basically the subject, verb, object, the structure of the sentence. You have to try to understand what's the subject of the sentence, what's the object, what's the verb, and then just try to, you know, they work as a group, as a gang. When you go to text, nouns would be always there, easier to find, so look for them. And then when you find them surrounded by some other disguised words, verbs, they can disguise easily, adjectives, they can disguise easily, some other word can be used for that, right? So but they will give you an idea. So here's the answer, and when you spot that area, just slow down, stop there, scan for the answer, and try to match the information. For example, subject, verb, object, or maybe nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Try to match them to your questions words. If you find it exact match, then that's the right place where you have the right answer, 100%. And one more thing, in reading section, adverbs, they are, you can call them thieves. They are thieves, they are there to trick you. And for instance, there are questions like true, false, or yes, no, not given. So the adverbs, even in other questions, you have to be very careful about them. They are always there to trick you and steal your joy and steal your marks. So what they do is they trick you, and if you don't notice them, sometimes the other statement is pretty straight, but just the adverb is different, that just changes the meaning of the sentence, then you lose your marks, and that is an error, right? So you lose a mark there, your answer is wrong. Then so if you do these things, so never write on your book, print the test, solve it. If you don't get a good score, please don't get upset. You have to familiarize yourself with all the question types and then solve it again, and then you'll feel better, right? And then one more thing that I would like to add, in reading section, what else? Yeah, so it's all about pulling words, right? And that's it. So now I'll move on to my writing section. What's wrong with IELTS writing? IELTS writing doesn't ask much. All you have to do is, please don't try to use your casual vocabulary. Try to use your formal vocabulary and try to be natural. That is one thing. All it asks for is organization of ideas. You have to really organize your ideas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so like the numbers come after after one another. They don't swap places. If they do, then they cause some kind of chaos to mind. Same thing with your ideas. They should be numbered, they should be like organized in a, they should have a flow, right? So one thing, and the other thing is you are asked to write about report kind of writing. So you are asked to write on any diagrams or charts, and what happens, there are some people like me who hate maths. So what happens, we are likely to avoid that writing, but you don't have to avoid, you have no choice, you have to write. So what you do is, charts are not difficult, and those are just pictures that you have to describe in words. So when you are writing task 1, task 2, whatever you are doing, what you have to do is pretend you are a reporter. okay? And report like a reporter, try to write like a journalist. And if you want to improve in that section, what I would suggest you familiarize yourself with the types of essays and types of tasks that come in test, and try to write on a few topics. And yeah, what can enhance your grade score band, that is, if you start writing in passive form, use your passive forms. And the other thing is, if you use what else, passive forms. And yeah, try using all your tenses, try using different kind of sentences in your writings. For example, use one question as one statement, and then some sentences in future, past, present. So show a range of grammar and vocabulary, and you will definitely get good grades. Now we move on to speaking. So what is required in the speaking? Nothing. Again, be formal, show off your good language skills. When you go there, be formal. And there are books where you get the situation and you get the questions, what are they going to ask you. Familiarize yourself with that, and prepare your mind for that. If you are not a fluent speaker, prepare your mind for that. And when you are there, just try to remember, on purpose they have designed this test in a way that you will be talking about your past, your present, and your future. So you will be basically using all the tenses, right? So the examiner, they are basically testing you for all using all those different grammar tenses and for your vocabulary. So that's it. And if you follow these things, I'm sure you are going to do really well in your test. And good luck with your IELTS. Thanks for listening to me. And if you want me to make separate videos on any topics, for instance, question types in reading, or maybe essay writing, or maybe you want to have some guidance on speaking, or if you want to have more detailed video with examples on listening, any section of listening, section 1, 2, 3, 4, please let me know, and I will make more videos on those topics. Thanks for being with me. Thank you so much. Happy learning. Good luck. Bye.